15-year-old girl was shot by her another 15-year-old girl. Once again, playing with these guns or being in, going into properties or going into things that they don't have no business. At 15 years old, you definitely know what you're doing. You holding a gun up, and these are two girls, playing with this gun, unauthorized gun, wasn't their gun. Once again, I know when we was coming up, we didn't go in our parents' room looking around, shooting around for no, especially for no weapons. We came across something like that, but that was a no-no. That was automatic. Back out the room, go about your business and leave it alone. But nowadays, these kids are so intrigued and so curious about these firearms, and it's a tragic story, man. And like I said, I'm glad that the young girl, the young lady wasn't charged, but at the end of the day, the person that belonged house, was wasn't well, the firearm was not registered, but the person who house it is, they are being charged with it. You see how you can just get caught up in a humbug, something that's so small and tragic like that, man, from being careless or laying things around or kids snooping through the household. But we're gonna get in this video real quick to show you what's going on. But it's happening in Washington, D.C. and Southeast.
We come on the air tonight with breaking news, a tragic situation unfolding in the district. Two teenage girls alone inside an apartment got a hold of an unsecured gun. Police say one girl picked up the weapon and it accidentally went off, killing her close friend. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. I'm Mauricio Casillas. Just an awful scene in a neighborhood on Barnaby Street in Southeast DC. News Force Paul Wagner has the very latest from police about how this happened and information about an arrest related to this incident.
Good evening. DC police tonight are calling this a horrible, tragic accident. Two 15-year-old girls, according to police, were alone inside an apartment here on Barnaby Street when they found an unsecured firearm. And as they began to play with it, the gun went off. It was just before 7 o'clock tonight when DC police received a call for shooting inside an apartment here in the Washington Highlands section of DC on Barnaby Street, Southeast. Interim Chief of Police Jeffrey Carroll, who came to the scene, says the two girls were handling a handgun they found inside the apartment when it went off, striking one girl in the head. She was pronounced dead at the scene.
As a father myself, this is just such a tragic circumstance when you see, like I said, two young people whose lives have been tremendously impacted, the friends and families, the loved ones, the parents of these children. All this is caused by an illegal firearm that was not properly secured inside a location. It's really just changed the course of so many people's lives. It's so tragic. Obviously, anyone that has a firearm, it should always be secured.
Chief Carroll says they will be charging a resident of the apartment for having an unsecured illegal firearm.
MPD continues to investigate the occupant who
See how
actually
that is?
lived inside the location.
Man, probably had a button and try to protect this household, and they got hold of it.
Was inside a location.
Man, he's probably going to jail.
Young people were able to access it. Additionally, it was not registered.
Chief Carroll says after the shooting, the second team dropped the firearm and ran for help. She's not being charged at this time. Carroll called it just a tragic accident.
What we know at this time is we know that the two 15-year-olds that were involved in this incident are friends. And one of them is the occupant of the apartment is a family friend. They do not live there.
The grief here on the scene was absolutely palpable for about an hour after the incident took place. All the residents and people who came to the scene here could hear very clearly a woman in deep grief and distress, crying and wailing at the top of her voice. Just a terrible, tragic accident, according to DC police. In Southeast DC, Paul Wagner, News 4.
There you have it. Once again, that's exactly what happens, man, when you have these guns laying around a household, and these teenagers, getting a hold of these things like that. This is exactly what happens, man. And it can become very tragic. I mean, hey, but it is what it is. It's a sad story for this to happen, but this is what happens. And then a man or lady, I don't know who the occupant, 9 times out of 10 was a man, a male. And then he might, and 9 times out of 10, he's gonna be going to jail for something that he had no control over. But once again, when you're going through households and you're a teenager and your curiosity get the best of you, you get to going through people's house, that's what happens.
A 15-year-old girl is dead after
Yeah.
police say she was apparently
accidentally shot by a friend inside an apartment. Our Alexis Wainwright spoke to
And that
police after
15-year-old
the
girl, they just spent the rest of her life accidentally losing her own
Police
friend.
say they arrested the occupant of the apartment who illegally owned a gun. They also say that the gun was unregistered and unsecured when all of this happened. Now, police say that person is now facing firearm related charges for this. They have not identified the person just yet, but we have heard that this is a family friend of the victim. The shooting happened before 7 p.m. on Barnaby Street near 9th Street Southeast. Investigators say two 15-year-old friends were alone inside an apartment belonging to that family friend. Officers arrived to find one of the girls suffering from one gunshot wound after what investigators described as an accidental shooting. Now, according to Police Chief Jeff Carroll, one of the friends picked up the gun when it went off. She immediately ran to a neighbor's to call for help. Now, investigators say no charges have been filed against the teen holding the gun at this time. We were here as the mother and the family of this young girl could be heard wailing and crying after learning about what happened here. Chief Carroll says this never should have happened in the first place.
This is just such a tragic circumstance when you see, like I said, two young people whose lives have been tremendously impacted, the friends and families, the loved ones, the parents of these children. All this is caused by an illegal firearm that was not properly secured inside a location. It's really just changed the course of so many people's lives. It's so tragic. Obviously, anyone that has a firearm, it should always be secured. It should be legally registered. But this just it just reinforces the need to make sure that all firearms are stored securely. They are unloaded. They are not accessible to young people or to anybody who should not have access.
Now, police have not released any other details about the extent of
Tragic.
those
That's
injuries. Up to